When things go wrong, who do we always say should fix it? They. They should fix the roads. They should clean up the park. They should make the graffiti disappear immediately. They should give us better quality water. They should have more programs. Who is they? Well, they are the city employees, the ones who answer the calls we make to complain about anything that goes wrong in the city. Without city employees, nothing gets done, nothing looks nice, and no services are provided. They do it every day, and it's a thankless job quite often. Tonight, we honor their commitment to excellence that makes Port Hueneme one of the most beautiful and most desirable places to live in Ventura County. Please help me welcome Ken McDonald to the stage to introduce our City Employee of the Year.
Good evening, everyone. I'm new to the community, just been with the city for 4 months, and I'd like to congratulate all the previous recipients that came up here before. But Jennifer Romero is one of our finance department members that when I came into town and had lots of things to do, she was more than willing to help out, had a breadth of knowledge and just a no-fear attitude that she took on when she did all this stuff. I told her that she didn't have to come up and make a speech, but I'd like her to come up here and she doesn't have to speak, but at least accept her award. Thank you very much.
I'm a little nervous. I just wanted to say that I am completely honored to be recognized in the same room as the heroes that were just recognized before me. And I wanted to say thank you to my team sitting over here with me, as well as my family, of course, and my fiance who's here with me. It's just a whole team effort, so thank you.
I have the honor of introducing the Business Person of the Year, Mr. Tony Suleiman. And I have to tell you that Tony's time in our community has been relatively short. This is actually going to be in August, will be his second year that he started his State Farm Insurance agency here in the city of Port Hueneme, over next to Pizza Man Dan's, on the opposite side of the center from Anna Cappuccino. Everybody knows Anna Cappuccino, right? And this was back when the chamber office was still in the museum. I remember being in my office, which is a rarity for me sometimes, at the chamber, and in walks this tall, handsome man with this smooth voice and wanted to join the chamber. Had a business that was coming, wanted to step in and get involved in the community early. That doesn't happen very often. And since his time in the community, he jumped in, became a member of the board of directors for the Chamber of Commerce. He has gotten involved with the Salvation Army. He has basically on his own asked me, hey, would you mind if I went and took some photos and interviewed some businesses and posted them on social media? Remember, that's the staff of me, myself, and I, and Francine? Absolutely, Tony. If you would like to do that, we would love to have that help. And it's been huge. If you're not following our Facebook page, he is out there not only connecting members of our business community with the public, but also the outlying areas. And in the city of Hueneme, as we all know, we depend on some of those businesses and services that are just outside the city limits. And Tony's done an amazing job of making friends, building strong relationships, and has quickly cemented his place in the Port Hueneme community. And it's my honor to present you as the 2017 Business Person of the Year.
Ooh, I think you had me tall and handsome. I was about to start crying. Ooh, wow, it's been almost 2 years when I first walked into Port Hueneme, and I didn't even know where Port Hueneme was. And he said, there's Port Hueneme. I said, where is Port Hueneme? So I came and I drove to Port Hueneme, saw a port, and it was the most beautiful city. I thought, this is where I want to be. And Tracy was one of the first people I met, and thank you for welcoming me into the chamber and the community, connecting me with Tom Figg, Tom Dunn, and Jim Hensley, and being able to connect with the community. But most importantly, like any great business, you have to have a great team. And I have a great team where I have Caitlin Cleaver, she's here today, and she's our technology guru, and her nickname is Coffee Lover. So if you have coffee, keep it away from Caitlin because she'll drink it all for you. And then we have Rafael Magana, you probably have seen him, he's our social media guru, and his family had some kind of emergency today, and his nickname is Latin Lover. And then we have Carol Burchard, our office manager. Just like any office, you have to have a great team. She's today at the Super Bowl of the monster truck in Las Vegas. And knowing her, she's probably driving one of those trucks. And like any team, any business, you have to have a family support. And so I'd like to thank my family. First, my kids, Tony Jr. and then Elise, who put up with me and my ideas and encouraged me all the time. Tony spent a month with me. After 1 month, he said, I never want to do anything with insurance again. And Elise wants to save the world, so she's leaving to Cambodia in August to save Cambodia. So, good luck. And then, like any partner, you have to have the right partner. You have to have somebody that's going to support you, give you wings to fly. My wife is the one that has given me wings, and she's not afraid to tell me the truth when I don't want to hear the truth. She's not afraid to humble me when I don't want to be humble. And she just ran the LA Marathon with me on Sunday, and here she is today, so thank you for being there. And finally, I want to thank you, I want to thank the city of Port Hueneme for accepting us and really supporting us. And we look forward, my team and I, humbly, to grow with you and your family, and be there for you for many years to come. Thank you.
You gotta do the phone.
Oh, yeah.
The street
I haven't
boys.
done this yet. Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." Our next award is all about those thoughtful, committed citizens of our community who find their passion in life and then find ways to live it out while making life better for the rest of us. They are the ones who give us hours, days, and years of their lives, doing things that not only bring them joy, but bring joy to others. They inform us, advocate for us, fundraise for causes that benefit us, and do much of the work of society that needs to be done. But that there isn't always a job description or budget for. We are very honored to have our 2017 award recipient here this evening with us, and I'd like to introduce Councilmember Tom Figg, who's going to talk about him.
Thank you, Tracy. Well, Tom, how many times have I said, what goes around comes around, it's your turn? So I'm going to take full advantage of it. Tracy, thank you for the introduction. But like you, I tend to part from the script now and then.
No.
And so I have a couple of comments. Some are good, some are probably politically incorrect. Before we introduce Tom and give him the accolades that he's deserving of, first I would like to announce that this is the city's 70th anniversary. Now, I was here a week ago and made a presentation to the Friends of the Bard Museum on the history of Port Hueneme, its relationship with the Port of Hueneme and the Navy. And somebody took it upon themselves to tell me later that I screwed up, and that the city wasn't incorporated on March 23rd, 1948, it was March 24th. So I haven't checked out my sources, they're probably wrong. So either you celebrate today as the beginning of our 70th anniversary or tomorrow. What's the difference? It's our 70th anniversary. And part of that anniversary, and you contributed to it at the last council meeting, we had a reception and some dignitaries came and, you know, made their proclamations to the city and were helping us acknowledge this milestone. But one thing that I really was a little disappointed from you, Tracy, because you're so modest. The reason the city is a city is because of the Chamber of Commerce. It was 6 years prior to our incorporation that the Chamber of Commerce was the driving political force that put us to where we are today. So more than just this event, I want to thank you and the Chamber for shaping the community that we are. So please, let's give Tracy and her board. Now, with that said, Tracy, there's a question I have for you in the program. Could you explain to me why my wife and I are placed next to the Garcia mortuary? Are you trying to tell me something? Or did one of my political foes pay you for that faux pas?
Did you not realize it was in alphabetical order?
Oh, well, no, I'm not that smart.
Noted.
Okay, noted. Okay, so with that introduction, by the way, I am so gratified, you know, like all our previous speakers, all of our heroes that we're celebrating tonight, congratulations. But I also, you know, I'm a hometown boy, and I want to acknowledge our family, our city family, for coming out and supporting your partners. I got to tell you, 3.5 years ago, I didn't have the same feeling I have today about how our city is coming together as a team. We keep talking about team. And I am so excited and enthused about the future to come. So thank you coming out and helping each other. Very much appreciated. So let's talk about this guy. See, and a cappuccino, that seems to be the gathering spot. That's where I first met Tom. The initial meeting wasn't necessarily cordial. All he had to do was complain about things. They just went on and criticized the city for doing this, that, and the other thing, or not doing this and the other thing. So over time, I think we kind of came to an understanding of how each of us ticks, and that if you're not part of the solution, you are the problem. So Tom and I kind of helped each other change our demeanor and trying to take a more positive approach to change and not be so critical about what's been done in the past and move forward. With that, the outcome was Tom and I kind of came together with a common goal to make Port Hueneme the better place that it is today, hopefully, and more in the future. A shared passion for keeping residents engaged in their community so that they're aware of what's important around them and they can participate in decisions that affect their lives. And most importantly, a friendship rooted in trust, understanding, respect, and honesty. And I cherish that very much. So I'm going to read a few things about his accolades that are not in his bio. I wrote these, so bear with me. It could take a few minutes. He began this quest with the formation of the Port Hueneme Coalition of Concerned Citizens in early 2016. This loose-knit grassroots organization had the simple goal of informing the community on local issues and promoting civic dialogue. It began with a publication known as Just the Facts, but was soon to be expanded using digital media and evolved into an outlet known as Hello Port Hueneme. In 2017, more than 70 videos and newsletters were published through this platform, covering special events, public forums, personal interviews, community landmarks, and local government. As a means by which to reach a broader audience, the original Hello Port Hueneme platform was subsequently expanded to Facebook with the creation of Port Hueneme News. Meanwhile, with the cooperation of the city, Tom also launched a monthly video interview with the city manager and his executive team that delves into community issues of current interest. A separate yet equally informative series was initiated in 2017 to promote resident understanding of city council actions by a recap of those meetings in video form. Finally, Tom was instrumental in establishing a community advisory committee or commission as a vehicle on a citywide basis to facilitate communication between the residents and their elected officials. In summary, Tom is part of an extraordinary upswelling of community engagement, volunteerism, activism. While there are many others that have contributed to this upswell, certainly in the past year, Tom's contributions excel in content, in diligence, and outcome. So please join with me in bestowing this honor, well-deserved, Mr. Tom Dunn.
Tracy, can I have my reward? He came in and stole my speech last night, I'm sure. I want to thank you and the Chamber for honoring me like this. Thanks to all of you in the audience and all the past and current honorees. It's a real honor to join you. The one thing that I learned pretty quickly after Tracy called me and told me what had happened was that you don't do this alone. There are so many people that help you get here, and I wouldn't be getting this tonight if it wasn't for a lot of people, and that's who I want to thank tonight. The first person I want to thank is my wife, Pat. I wouldn't be up here tonight if she had not, using her loving attitude, her willingness to help people, very intelligent, hardworking. She said one day, 4 years ago, you need to go to the HOA meeting. Something is not right. And so I said, why? We've been here 8 years, we've never been, we throw the letters away. So anyway, I went, and there was something wrong. And our HOA was almost broke, and there were a lot of things wrong. So I worked at it, and 9-10 months later, we had a new board, a new management company, and a new president, Pat. And going from being almost bankrupt to this last month, we have almost $1 million in reserve, and a lot of great work. Then, she didn't stop there. She said, this was 2 years ago, she said, things don't seem right at the city. Well, that's when I met Tom, and I let him know. And so I started working on everything that he said, and it has come to a point where things are changing. The other thing I wanted to do was tell you that if you look in your programs, that is me. The first 20 people I talked to tonight didn't recognize me. This is the first time I have been out in Port Hueneme without a sweater and a hat. Even if it's 95. We had a little discussion whether to wear the hat or not, and you can tell I lost. When I go out tomorrow, I will have them on. There are so many people to thank, and when we started Hello Port Hueneme, at Anna Cappuccino, I met Larry Downing, And I realized after talking to him, we both were involved in a labor of love. And Larry said to me, have you ever been to the museum? And I said, what museum? I've only been here 8 years. And he said, yeah, it's right down the street. He said, you ought to go see it. I said, well, where down the street? He said, about 200 feet. I said, oh, okay. So and a couple days later, I went in there, and I was just blown away. 150 years of newspaper articles, pictures, artifacts, and he was in the process of, he and his wife, Roberta, putting it together. And that was one of the first videos that we did, was a tour of Port Hueneme. And being inexperienced at that at the time, I just sort of said, Larry, what do you have here? Well, a half hour later, I said, thank you, Larry. So that was a great learning experience. And when people saw it, they said, oh my God, I can't believe that there is something like that here. And as Tom said, that led on to, we have over 70 videos, and every time, every week, we find something new and different. And there is so much in this little town, it's incredible. And so we now, like I said, almost 75 videos. This month alone, we're going to do close to 15. There is so much going on. And I finally had to start writing them down because I didn't know where to go. And I call up, Tom didn't mention this, but he is the person who helped me the most in starting Hello Port Hueneme. And it was really funny, we met in the garage of his house, which was our done and fixed studio. And he had a camera, because we had talked about how do we do this. He had a camera and didn't know how to get it onto social media or anywhere. And I had a bunch of ideas, but no budget. So we said, let's go. That's a good plan. And so he figured out how, he bought a program or something, he figured out how to transfer it to YouTube and to edit it and everything. And I spent time, working, finding new stories. And then we'd tape them, come back, and he would edit them. And his editing is astounding, very unique, and exactly what we needed. And I'm sure in a couple years, Hollywood will discover him. They're going to come after him. They're going to offer him big money, much more than I pay him. That's a private joke. And I'm sure he'll win an Academy Award. So pretty soon, when you see him on the street, say, good luck in Hollywood, and tell him goodbye, and you hope the best for him. It's amazing what he has done, and not just Tom. As you can see over here, we have Brian, his son, who is a fabulous cameraman and goes out on most of the videos with me, and we discuss how to do the videos, and it's a great team. And even a couple times when Tom wasn't available, Brian was available, Tama stepped in and filmed a couple segments. So, matter of fact, one of them was that we had at the chamber. So, it's a great family to be associated with, and thanks for everything you said. Besides Pat and Tom, when we started Port Hueneme News, it was my idea that we just 2 or 3 stories a week we would put out, just writing about what was going on. And so I didn't know how to do it. I'm a computer idiot. And so I met a gentleman named Marcus Thuna, and Marcus told me, here's how you do it. We put it on Facebook. You have to go on Facebook, and you have to have pictures. Well, I had no idea how to do pictures or any of that. He taught us all of that. And so we started out with getting ideas of things going on here, and I could have not have done it by myself, not at all. After about a week, I said, ooh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. It was taking hours a day. So I went out and found people that believed in what we were trying to do. We wanted to make Port Hueneme a better place, and I ran into people, I'm going to name them all off. The first one I ran into was Stephen Gama. He's the beach guru. He knows all about the beach erosion, taking care of the beach, cleaning it up, the Alaska Airline Memorial. He's just fabulous. And what's interesting is I will find us write up something, say that something happened in the city that I thought was pretty important. And we'll get maybe 500 hits on it, you know, the first couple of days. Stephen will take a picture of the sunset, put it up, and he gets 1,500. Or he does people surfing, or there's, you know, volleyball or different things on the beach. 1,500, all the things. People love Hueneme Beach. And so we started out with him and Marcus, and the first month we had 15,000 hits on Port Hueneme News. And they came from Italy, Mexico, all over the United States. People that had either been here, had heard about it, or saw the pictures and said, wow, that looks really neat. So that was a wonderful start. And then I had to expand. I realized what was going on, and I couldn't do it myself. And so the next person I went to was Chief Salinas at the police department. And I said, would you be a direct contributor? Because the police department is so loved here, and I knew that one of his major goals when he came here about a year ago was community relations. And he said, I'm in, let's go for it. And so he is a direct contributor. I don't even ask him what he's putting up. He posted it up there, and it's a fabulous help, and he gets current stuff up there. And he did an almost live presentation on the bomb scare we had at the pier. And I have just found out that through Facebook and with our smartphones, we can actually do a live broadcast as it's happening. So we're going to start looking to do that on different things that go on in the city, not just emergencies, but meetings and, you know, stuff like that. So I want to thank him very much. And he is like me. We're partners in crime. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that quite that. But he's like me. He has never met a camera he did not like. If he wasn't the police of Chile, chief of police, he would be doing what I'm doing. So I really respect that, and he's a good, talented photographer, and can put together a good program. I also ran into and offered up the same thing to Dr. Christine Walker at the school district, and because I knew the kids needed and the parents, you know, needed a vehicle to get more information. And again, she jumped right on it. And one of the most interesting things I've heard was, she said, you know what I want to do is our own website, you know, is talks to the parents and some of the kids, but I need to reach the preschoolers, parents who have 2 and 3 year olds, because they need to know what their children need to know before they come to me. Otherwise, they're going to be very far behind. So that's one of the unique things that we have found that we can do, is alert people to what they need to do in the future to be ready. And I think that is a great way to use the media. The other person who I talked to, and they were a little hesitant at first about whether Port Hueneme News would work, is our own Tracy from the Chamber. I don't know if you remember that. At Anna Cappuccino, we sat down and talked, and she is now one of the biggest contributors, direct source to Port Hueneme News. And not only does she contribute Chamber stuff, she contributes benefits, fundraisers, stuff that I would never even think to look for. And I spend quite a time every day looking all over trying to find stuff. Thank you so much, Tracy. Another person that does a whole lot is Tony Suleiman. He is our business guru, and he goes every week and finds a new business to advertise what's going on. Port Hueneme is unique. We have maybe 2 main streets, and if you open up a business and you're not on a main thoroughfare, nobody knows about it. There's no radio, TV, or newspaper here. And if you're like Poke Ramen, which is on the corner of Ventura and Hueneme Road, yeah, you'll get people, but all of the other places that open up, they need a source of, media that will let people know that they're open for business. And that will be a sustaining thing that will really help the small businesses thrive here. I did a survey a year ago, and out of 160 retail spots, 40 of them were empty. I just did one today. Again, out of 160, there are only 30 that are not occupied. So we're starting to make strides on that. And I know there's a lot of plans in the future with the city. So we also have the city itself, which participates in the in presenting news to Port Hueneme News. And also we have where individuals in the community, we have an email that's on the website, on the Port Hueneme News, where they can punch and they can enter in any information they want, and it will be posted. So we really use that as a method of letting people know what's going on. A couple years ago, there was a lot of distrust. People didn't know what was going on. This is really helping that. So thanks to all of you guys that have made great contributions on this. It wouldn't be possible without you, without Pat. And I have a motto, which is, if the people know what's going on, they will be able to help the city get to where it needs to be. That's the only way it's going to happen. And I hope to follow in the steps of other Port Hueneme leaders like Orville Carpenter, Jim Daniels, Tony Valente, in working hard to make sure that not only for visitors, but for citizens, that Port Hueneme remains the friendly city by the sea. Thank you.
So we give out a lot of certificates tonight, and this one we have the county does resolutions in addition to certificates, and they're a little longer, a little fancier, so we wanted to present this to Tom for his contribution to Port Hueneme, so congratulations.
And last but not least, Chairman's Award. Go the extra mile. It's never crowded. The Chairman's Award is all about those who do just that. They go above and beyond. They are the ones who ask themselves daily, how can they contribute? Not just how can they benefit. They do their jobs and then some. They serve the community, but not for personal gain or recognition. They do it because it's who they are. It's not in them to do things halfway. They give their all in whatever they do, and their commitment to bettering our community shows. Whether it's a job they get paid for or a volunteer work, sometimes both. We notice these people because it's a rare thing to give or do more than it's expected. Booker T. Washington said, "Those who are the happiest are those who do the most for others." And that is true of our Chairman's Award recipient. They are surely the happiest people in the room on awards night. It was, I guess it was 2013 when I was meeting with city council members and they asked what the chamber could do to help bring back a community event during the holiday time. Something that was not necessarily religious focused at the holidays, but something that just brought goodwill to the community. And for those of you that know me well, my birthday's on Christmas, and my favorite Christmas decoration is holly. So we came up with the Holly Day tree lighting. And what better to go with a tree lighting than Santa photos and Santa and Mrs. Claus. And I have an amazing network of friends. I forget who it was that I said, I need a Santa. Who can I call? And I was given the name Chris Bissonette. Now, I've grown up in this town and I know a lot of CBs. Don't go there. But I had never had the opportunity to meet Chris Bissonette. And I think I sent him an email, as I recall. It wasn't even a phone call. Hey, Chris, so-and-so sent me your name. I need a Santa. Are you available? And without a question, it was a quick yes, and how would you like to have Mrs. Claus there too? For somebody that he didn't know, for a community that he has served for many, many years. He and his wife, Christine, yes, Christopher and Christine, Santa, I literally said, Chris and Christine, no shit, Chris and Christine are going to be Mrs. and Mrs. Claus. They are the sweetest, most giving people. Year after year, hundreds of photos every year. Always smiling, always encouraging the kids, and it just is the best time of year, I think, in our community now, and it's better because of you. So tonight, we would like to honor you as a 2017 Chairman Awards recipient.
Welcome to Hello Port Hueneme. I'm your host, Tom Dunn, and today we are with the tree lighting ceremony in Port Hueneme. And with me right now, as you can see, and it's the first time in many, many, many years that I have been with Santa Claus and Miss Santa Claus. Welcome to Port Hueneme, both of you.
Well, thank you.
How was the trip from the North Pole?
Well, it's pretty speedy. We got a new sleigh that we discovered out there, and twice as fast as the old sleighs that we used to have back in the days, and deliver presents a lot quicker than that.
Nice reindeer.
Yes, and I guess you had a long year up there with all the elves and cooking and making presents.
My cookies are fantastic.
And I believe we do have some of those here tonight for the people to
Yes,
try.
it's
Oh,
outside.
okay.
And you can see the cookies are doing pretty good.
A lot of management there.
Oh yeah, there is.
Watching that.
Got to keep sampling to make sure she doesn't get the recipe wrong.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're really thrilled that you both are here, and you're going to talk to some of the families and the children and give them the spirit of Christmas. And I look forward to that, and we'll tape a couple of them,
Okay.
and everybody will get a chance to look at it. Thank
Very
you guys.
good. Well, thank you.
very much.
That's one of the best things
Thank
is
you.
taking
Merry
pictures
Christmas.
with the kids.
It is. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for the recognition. We've been doing the Santa Claus thing for 8-9 years now. We started off with our grandkids at our home, serving off cookies and so forth, and advertising back and forth as Santa was coming through. Where we live, there's a lot of less fortunate kids. So what better way to give some of that holiday spirit? Some of the things is actually Christmas morning, they've got toys on their doorsteps and so forth, which kind of makes up for it. We do it because we want to make that community better.
Well, I've lived in Port Hueneme for 25 years. My children all grew up, in Port Hueneme, graduated from Hueneme High School, and are currently all in Ventura County residents, doing well. And we love to give back to the community. We enjoy taking care of other people, and the only way you can make your community better is by being better yourself. And with my husband, who has helped me to learn how to help other people, and we've enjoyed doing it. Tracy contacted us with Bonnie, who took all of our pictures at the Santa Claus, and our adopted daughter Pam, she was our elf, and we thoroughly enjoyed being with all the kids and with everybody at Christmas. And thank you all very much. We greatly appreciate the honor. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you all again for coming so much. We do this for the community. We do it because there is community to celebrate. And we talked earlier about heroes. It's about heroes and about influencers, people who go the extra mile to make a difference. And every one of you who received an award this evening did so because you have taken the time to make an impact on your fellow man. And from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of our much larger community, Thank you all so much. I do hope everyone had a great time this evening. We'll be checking out silent auction items on your way out, but please feel free to mingle as you make your way, and we hope to see you again next year. Thank you so much.
Celebrate, dance to the music. Celebrate, 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 celebrate, dance to the music. Come on, celebrate, celebrate, dance to the music. 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 Celebrate, celebrate, dance to the music.